Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another video. We're talking about the pilots again. It's no surprise. When they put out the single The Contract, I made a video talking about my thoughts and also just talking about some conversations that were happening online regarding the concert and everything. And then they went radio silent for like a month and a half. I'm gonna split this up into a couple different sections. We're gonna start off talking about the lore, the timeline, the actual story that's going on with these characters that we've been following. Where we left off 2 videos ago was when they announced Breach in May. They had the eye closing, everybody was stressing out, and then instead of going silent, they announced this new album. And then when I did the contract video, I didn't really talk about the story as much. It was a lot more focused on my thoughts on the video and my thoughts on the song itself, just like my opinion on how it sounds. So we're gonna go over everything from that point, from May until now. And then at the end of the video, I will be talking about my thoughts on Drum Show, the song, the visuals, the way that it's everything. This song is everything to me. I can't stop listening to it. But we'll get into that at the end of the video because otherwise we'll be here so long. So I want to at least get the boring stuff out of the way first, and then I can just go on about this song because I can't stop listening to it. We'll just get right into it. We're starting off in May 21st, to be specific. The eye was supposed to close, but instead they opened everything back up, they announced Breach. And they also told us that the contract would come out on June 12th, leading people to believe that maybe this is the ultimate chapter 25 that we had been hoping for. May 24th, a couple days later, is Clancy's 1-year anniversary, and the band does nothing for it, which is odd after having so much build-up and so many things coming out about Blurryface Week and going back and forth with the character on their social media accounts, so to then have nothing for the 1 year of Clancy was kind of sad to see. And then a couple days later, on May 26th, the band won Favorite Rock Artist and Favorite Rock Album at the AMAs, which is not lore, it's just a really cool thing to see that they've been doing it this long and they're still at the top of the charts, you know? On May 27th on Twitter, we get 2 different sets of images from the band. The first 4 are blue images. They're kind of at weird angles, they're tilted a little bit, and they look kind of sad. And then the second set are all red and they look more confident and powerful and kind of intimidating. Stuff like him in the skull mask that he wears during Doubt on top of the piano, and it's like he looks really powerful here. But this imagery ties back to the idea that blue is a sign of defeat, where the tour ended and yes, they announced this new thing, but are they potentially hinting at the idea that Clancy's gonna fail here? Is Nico mocking him somehow through these visuals, making it seem like he's going to be defeated? On May 29th, on Instagram and Twitter, there's a 2-minute video of Josh saying that they have a couple more Clancy shows left, and that's it. And with that video, we also see a clearer visual of when Clancy is walking away from the torchbearer handing him the jacket, and Josh looking up at the burning city by himself. And this message from Josh reminded me of the last message that we got from Blurryface Week, where they post and said, "We'll see what's next," with a clip of Josh saying that at the start of that era so long ago, where it felt very hopeful and it felt very much like, we'll see what's next, I hope I can keep doing this. And then we get this video where Josh is saying, we'll see what's next after these shows, that's it. And it feels a little bit more final and it's a little bit more scary. But the thing that's weird about these videos is normally Tyler is the one talking to us. Normally Tyler is the one in the videos and in the posts that is the one speaking, but all of a sudden around this time, Josh really became the focal point. He was the voice for this band. Tyler was completely absent from a lot of, even like interviews and stuff that they were doing. Josh was the only guest on interviews and Tyler just was not there. And there's a song playing in the background which people think could be the Torchbearer's theme, and that maybe the contract, which maybe has this sound, is the Torchbearer's theme. And then Blurryface tweets and then quickly deletes a video that says, "I checked the windows, and pulled the blinds, pulled the blinds, pulled the blinds," which is scary. When I saw this for the first time going around, I was frightened to my core. It's very much analog horror, backrooms vibe, and I did not like it. But it used the same clip of Clancy stole from the video that Josh was talking in earlier that day. And when you're thinking about doors and windows, you could be reminded about the fact that Nico came in through the door and Clancy climbed up through the window. Or you could think back to some of their older lyrics that reference doors and windows. You could think about the blue door in the Scaled and Icy era and how it represented the creativity, and there's a lot of ways you could take that. Not Today mentions curtains and windows, The Judge mentions a door being closed. Like, that is just a very common thing that you interact with in life, so it's mentioned throughout their songs a lot. And you could assume that this audio is Blurryface speaking to somebody, but who? Who's checking the doors, and for what? I saw somebody saying, what if this is an alarm that plays in the city, as if the bishops are trying to protect the citizens from something coming in, and they're warning you and they're saying, hey, check your doors, check your windows, lock yourself in, like something is coming. And that is a scary thing. I don't like to think about it like that because the idea of like city alarm systems is, I hate it. This audio also reminded people of that old video of Josh when he's battling with his anxiety in the earlier shows. And it's like his version of Blurry Face where it's saying, don't go back on stage. And how this could potentially be a part 2 of that character of Spooky Jim, which is like Tyler's Blurry Face, but Josh and his anxiety. Because we tend to focus on Tyler, but with Josh speaking out more for the start of this album, as well as the eyeliner making a comeback, what if the story is more about this character or this person than we realize? I mean, really, even after all this time, we don't know that much about the Torchbearer character. And we'll circle back around to that idea, because I think we might get to know the Torchbearer a little bit better. Not for another couple months, though. On Friday, May 30th, around 10 a.m., there's another deleted Blurry Face tweet. This time, it's a video that says, I check the clock, wondering what he will do this time. Again, we're checking things, and we're worried about somebody, but we don't know who or what's going on. And the video is more imagery to go along with the Breach album with Clancy and his tape, but it also has this sound of what seems like a projector, which reminds people of the Overcompensate music video where Clancy is teaching the citizens of Dima about the city itself and what's going on, how to escape, all of that. You can see in the music video he's flipping through a projector screen, so it seems like maybe somebody is teaching a crowd about this threat that's coming in, which led people to think, what if the bishops are teaching the citizens about Clancy and how he's a danger and how you need to look out for him? Like, who's really afraid of who right now? Because clearly both parties are incredibly powerful, right? So how can they use their influence to lead the citizens one way or the other? And that would also kind of line up with Close the Blinds, because you want it to be dark if you're using a projector. And it's generally accepted that these are going to be lyrics for the contract, but we got them 2 days in a row, and the contract is still 2 weeks away. So are they going to give us lyrics for 2 weeks straight? On Instagram, they put out a post that celebrates the Clancy tour one more time with the group picture that they took at every night of the show, and they say, now all eyes on Breach, the contract is here June 12th, which was interesting because Blurry Face just said we need to be paying attention, and now we have the band saying all eyes are on Breach. And I did see some theories going around about if the pictures could mean something, if there's a certain night where he's not wearing the stole, or if there's certain pictures that were left out, or there are like 2 that are blurry, but they put in a disclaimer to say that it was just autofocus not working. And people are saying, well, what if actually there is a hidden message within the pictures that are different? I didn't see anything coming out of that, but it just goes to show how far people are willing to go to find the messages, where you're willing to look through every single concert date at the group photos to see if something's missing or altered, or, you know, it's a lot to go through. But the other thing that's interesting about this post is they used Lavish for the audio, except Blurry Face is singing for some reason. Like, it's not just Tyler's voice, it's also Blurry Face's voice singing Lavish. For what? Why was he there? Why was he doing that? What business does he have on this song? And it's also worth mentioning that the way that the video rotates has it so that East would be down. And I don't know if that goes to mean anything, but that was something that people had been talking about with some other symbols that they were using, where East was pointing down. For so long, for all of Trench, the message has been East is up, and that was the thing that they used to escape. That was the secret message. But now, for some reason, East keeps pointing down, and I don't know why. Like, is it possible that they're trying to come at it from a new perspective? Is there somewhere else they're trying to go? It's not clear. But it is something that's coming up across their visuals, so it's something to keep in mind. And then a couple of hours later, I don't even really know how to explain this in a way where it makes sense. On the 21 Pilots website, they posted and then deleted the video that had gone up by Blurry Face. The file name is Clock, but the way that people found it was they used the link that had previously been found as a not authorized page, and somebody was trying to type in that URL and accidentally typed it a different way that somehow got them to this video that happened to be up the same day. Because, you know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense? A couple of months ago, people found a hidden page on the 21 Pilots website, I guess just by randomly typing stuff in and hoping it works or something. I genuinely have no clue. But it was a page that just said not authorized. And that was it. And somebody on this day went to that page but mistyped it and somehow got led to a website that had the video that had been posted that morning. And then a little while after that discovery, it was adjusted to go back to the regular website. Like, I don't understand how that sequence of events took place. That seems like way too many accidents to just happen, but I could not see a single person telling what actually went down. Regardless, all of this was reminding people of the level of concern ARG, which I didn't even talk about in my earliest video because it was so much to get into, but the cryptic videos and hidden messages within all this stuff that they're doing was reminding people of that, which conveniently the live stream for that is the 5-year anniversary is when the contract is coming out. So could they be connected, or is it just a weird coincidence? Who knows? Everything just kind of lines up, and it's unclear what is intentional and what just happens to be because it's a day of the year and things have to happen on some day. And then people are thinking, what if those jokey set lists that he posted last year and before the tour, what if they actually meant something? Because he wrote 2 different track lists, kind of. There was one post where he wrote down kind of all of his songs, except not every song was there. Goner wasn't there, Not Today wasn't there, and now people are saying maybe Not Today was intentional because that ties into what we're getting now. Or people were saying the jokey Clancy track list that he wrote where it's just lavish a bunch of times. What if that's actually lore because he wrote lavish 9 times and now we have a bishop singing lavish? On May 31st, they don't post anything. For whatever reason, they chose to take the weekend off, which is kind of very funny. Because at 9:30 a.m. on Monday, Blurryface clocks back in. We get another video. I have a feeling that the necromancer is outside, and I'm just trying to stay quiet. And that kind of solidifies that these are probably song lyrics because they do seem to rhyme. Around 1 p.m. on June 2nd, they post Instagram and Twitter. Twitter gets a picture of Tyler in red with the skull mask and the stole, and Instagram gets 3 images. One is red with him in the blindfold, and then the others are him, but he looks blurry and he's got the skull shirt on. They're both, again, it's all just weird, bad vibe, kind of scary looking. And the caption on that is, "Stay quiet." It does line up with the video of "I'm just trying to stay quiet," but where that one sounds like somebody who's scared and who is hiding, "Stay quiet" sounds like a command. It's telling you what to do. And then, for a second, they also posted that to their Instagram story, but then they took it down. But the repost that they had on their story was slightly different. Where the original Blurryface video that was posted did have red, the repost on their story was completely black and white. So then we're trying to figure out which one of these is influenced by Blurryface. What is the message that we're trying to get here? Why are the videos altered on different platforms? At the concerts, we were seeing messages from the letters up on the big screen, and now we're seeing messages from Blurryface in the captions. Or I guess not from Blurryface, but from whoever is saying these ominous things in the videos. We're seeing a lot of that imagery of Tyler being blurry and having red all over the image, or having his blindfold on, or having the skull mask or the skull shirt. Like, all of these things are coming up again and again. It's very much trying to hint that something is not right. And then also still images from the clock video that had previously gone up were uploaded and then deleted to Facebook, which is just a weird move. The images were captioned with "I checked the doors and pulled the blinds." At this point, there are 10 days left until the contract, but they're already posting on Twitter, posting on Instagram, posting on their stories, posting on Facebook. They're really trying to get all platforms. And then obviously also, there is that slight little mention of a necromancer, which does lead some people to think more about Clancy, and I mean, the undead are obviously a huge part of the story, the people that have passed, the bodies that are being used. There's just a lot of fear going around right now because there are these really scary audios going around and you don't know who's talking about what, but it's clear that something bad is going on. On June 3rd, the band posts a video ticking down from 10 days to 9 days until the contract. This is the sound that we thought was a projector, but really it's this thing ticking down the days. Again, it's a rotation where east would be down. The word contract is split up in the phrase 9 days until the contract, and the ending letters spell out silent. So again, be quiet. We're getting all of this messaging to just stay quiet, stay down, just like how we saw with Lane Boy. So again, we're seeing a lot of parallels to the Blurryface era. They're really calling back to everything that we saw back then. The numbers on the counter have double dots in between them, and when the band was posting about the concert in Europe, they had typed their symbol with double dots, and people are wondering if maybe that's somehow connected. And then Blurryface starts to DM update accounts on Twitter. There are 3 accounts on Twitter that get a DM directly from Blurryface. 2 of them are 21 Pilots updates accounts, and one of them is somebody whose birthday is the day that the contract comes out. And they all 3 get a video that says, "I want to get out there, but I don't try." The other videos so far have all been 21 seconds, but this one is only 12. And again, this isn't the first time that Blurryface has DM'd accounts, so we're seeing all of this stuff coming back up. None of this is new behavior, but it's weird that it's all happening right now, because what is going on? What role is Blurryface playing in all of this? How in control is he of the situation? Where he's able to reach out to us in so many ways, and they want all eyes on this song, they want all eyes on the story, but who is saying all of this? Who is really talking to the fans right now, right? Is it Clancy? Is it the Torchbearer? Is it all of the Banditos? Or is it maybe something more evil? It seems like everything that we're getting is bouncing back and forth between these narrators, and we don't really know what to believe. And those DMs were sent at 5:05, which is 21 minutes after the main account post. And if you are interested in seeing a full timeline of Blurryface activity, I guess mostly on Twitter is what this is. I will put a link in the description because I saw a really cool timeline that laid out everything from the past decade from what they've done with that account, and it's just really cool to see how much work they put into it. On June 5th, the same number that had been used when people were getting messages about an evening with 21 Pilots, which is like the smaller shows that they did before the Clancy tour, that same number reached out to people and sent an unlisted video from the 21 Pilots account. And they actually went back and privated it now, so I can't even watch it now. But it's another countdown video to say that we're 1 week away. They used up all their social platforms, so now they're texting people directly. So people are guessing probably if they're gonna keep reaching out, there's going to be emails or there's going to potentially be more physical mail coming in, because that's something that also happened last year or 2 years ago. But also every time we think there's a pattern, they shift and they do something different, so who knows what's coming next. Again, this video goes back to being 21 seconds long, but the thing is, every time they post a countdown video like this, every time they emphasize what day it's coming out, we all kind of assume that something's gonna get leaked, that it's gonna come out early, whether that's intentional or not, just because so many of their releases have been leaked early. So honestly, the fact that this album has done as well as it has in terms of remaining a secret, it's kind of impressive. On June 6th, around 1:30 p.m., the official band account, not the Blurryface account, but the 21 Pilots account, posts and deletes a video. This one they delete very, very fast, which leads some people to joke about how maybe they were just logged into the wrong account. But we see the image freeze on Josh. We really emphasize him in this video. We see another blurry image of Tyler, and then the final scene of the Torchbearer handing off the jacket as the song says, "Now I plead, just take the deal, I promise you," which kind of leads people to think that maybe the contract has something to do with the deal between the Torchbearer and Clancy. Just take the deal, as in, like, just take the jacket. There are some hopeful theories out there that suggest that maybe this could be a duet, that maybe we're hearing from multiple perspectives, that maybe we're gonna get Josh singing on this song. And then on June 7th, we get another countdown video, which brings us to 5 days until the contract. There's no caption, the video has the same clip of Josh looking into the camera, and then when it goes to the countdown, there are 2 red dots in between each number again, but when it counts down, one of the sets blinks at us. The 2 dots between 5 and 6 seem to blink. So what's that about? Some people thought that because 2 eyes close, it means take 2 days off of when the song is meant to be released, or maybe it's hinting at the fact that Tyler's gonna have red contacts again. Maybe it's saying there's something special between songs 5 and 6 on the album. You could tie it to the songs, 3 lights are lit but the 4th one's out. You could tie it to blinking Morse code message it. Like, there's a lot of ways that you could interpret that, but we're getting all of this messaging about eyes, and all eyes are on us, and now we're seeing hidden eyes within a countdown for this song. On the 9th, we hear Tyler singing "And I'm Just Trying to Stay Quiet," which confirms that what we were getting was the lyrics to the song. And the video was posted on Twitter with Thursday in all caps, which is Blurryface type. Like, that's the way that he normally types. And then it was adjusted to be all lowercase and with the 21 Pilots symbol, so it seems like they're fighting for control on this account. But it does mean that Blurryface is still present, right? He still has some control in this situation. They do post different videos on different social platforms. On Instagram and Twitter, we see Tyler with his head back. On YouTube, we see Josh drumming after that, but Josh isn't present in the other clips. And the YouTube caption also had all of the lyrics that we've gotten so far, but then they edited it to just have their regular caption information. And then the Blurryface account posts and deletes a little sneak peek of this song, and it really sounds like something from a video game. It sounds very, very cool. And we get confirmation that he's gonna be yelling, which is just, it's something that a lot of us have been wanting for a while. There used to be a lot more yelling in their older songs, so to see that coming back, it's exciting, you know. Around this time, people started to notice that the FPE pre-order images for the vinyls were starting to fade, which, I mean, could just mean that they're selling out soon or that they're not going to be available for pre-order, but some people were wondering what if it means that this isn't the actual album cover for Breach, and that this is just the album cover for the contract, and then they're going to end the fading out by putting out a new album cover. Then on June 10th, we get a 7:47 a.m. tweet. This one is Josh with red filter drumming and the countdown going down to 2. On the counter, we see now 3 eyes blinking back at us. And the caption says, "I don't sleep much, that's crazy, how'd you know that?" Which to me reads like a conversation because they're typed in different ways. One of them has punctuation, one of them is uppercase. It's like one person is asking this, the other person is responding. Are we seeing Nico? Are we seeing Clancy? Who is talking to who right now? What are we checking the doors from? Like, we still don't know any of the details of what's going on. And the eyes blinking again bring people to the song Morph, and also glowing eyes, obviously. On Instagram, the video that they post focuses in on Tyler singing and the "stay quiet" line, so they use different audio and different video for different platforms. And I saw somebody talking about what all of these videos could potentially be giving us, and they said that the time of when they're posting these videos alternates between AM and PM in a way to, if you translate that to Morse code, you get SOS. Like, if you have AM and PM being dots and dashes, that just happens to be SOS. And that is frightening if they're thinking that far ahead and hoping that we're gonna catch on to that. But hey, somebody caught it, and now it would be a weird thing if they didn't mean to do it, right? You really never know how much of it is intentional. But I hope that that was, because that's really cool. And it also goes along with this whole thing where it seems like somebody's clearly in trouble, something is not going well. So now if we have this secret message of somebody calling out for help, that would be a really cool detail to throw in there. And until this point, we didn't know what time the song was coming out, but now we know 12 p.m. EST. Then 6:11, one day until the contract. Blurryface posts and deletes a 32-second black and white video, and if you reverse it, you get a clear clip of the song, which ends with Blurryface saying, "So few, so proud, so emotional." But instead of Tyler being pitched down like it usually is, it's that text-to-speech voice that we've been getting. So for the video, the song is playing and we get this looping video of this cloudy, dark scene. When he says "so few," we get Nico's eyes. When he says "so proud," we see Torchbearer passing the jacket. And when he says "hello, Clancy," we zoom in on Tyler, who is facing an army of red glowing eyes. What's that all about? Because this is a different voice from usual, people are wondering, is this really Blurryface speaking, or are we hearing from some other party that we haven't met yet? Because Blurryface usually is Tyler's voice, but now it seems like it's just something else, or could it just be that they're trying a new style for how this voice is gonna be? And then obviously, all these eyes are a new addition, right? Who are all these people? It looks like the citizens, but are they with Clancy? Are they against Clancy? Are they good? Are they evil? Are they rising up to fight in this rebellion, or are they on the side of the bishops? And also, the glowing eyes out there all look like the fans in the crowd looking up at Tyler. At 12 o'clock, the band posts across all platforms with a video that says, "See you in 24 hours. Our new song, The Contract, premieres tomorrow at 12 p.m. ET. The video is red, it has a close-up of an eye and the guys performing in front of that crowd of glowing eyes. I check the clock, wondering what he'll pull this time, and I'm just trying to stay quiet as Josh hands Tyler the jacket. And Zane Lowe also announced that he's going to be doing an interview with the boys that comes out the same time as the song does, which is exciting because if you know anything about Zane Lowe and his interviews, you'd know that they're like the best interviews that exist with Tyler. It's the night before the contract, and all through the house, people are freaking out. People saying that with the release of the single, we could be getting new tour dates, we could be getting a track list, we could really be getting anything. Some people are hoping that something will come out at midnight instead of 12 hours later. And then at 11:30 p.m., about half an hour before the contract day, Live Nation posts an ad for a Breach tour. It was a sponsored post from Live Nation that's promoting a Breach tour that hadn't been announced yet. But again, all things considered, the fact that this was the first leak of information before it was officially revealed, I'd say that's pretty good with how they usually are. There had already been rumors of this tour going around where somebody on Facebook saw that it's going to be a fall amphitheater tour and they were kind of upset because it's going to be outdoor venues, and we already talked about all that. But the fact is, this tour is still labeled as part of the Clancy tour. This isn't a tour all on its own. It's an extension of the previous one, which did lead some people to think that maybe they're going to do a full Breach tour later. But that brings us to the date of the contract. June 12th, the contract release day. The FPE vinyls are taken off of the website. They are all done being pre-sold. 12 p.m. comes around, they release 6 new vinyl variants. We get the single, the video, and the Zane Lowe interview at 12. In the interview, Tyler talks about how they had originally planned on just adding some more songs to Clancy and having it be like a bigger album, but that they would just be called a deluxe album, and that has a weird vibe to it, so they wanted to give these songs and to give the end of the story the space that it deserves. So rather than just throwing it onto a Clancy deluxe album, they just made a whole other album for it. And I will say, Josh is in this interview, Josh is talking in this interview, and it is so nice to hear somebody who's a little bit more soft-spoken like that still being listened to, because I've seen so many interviews where the interviewer or the other bandmates will talk over the person that's known for speaking less, where they're so ready to move on to the next question, they want to keep things moving, and they can't stand the silence, so they constantly cutting the other person off. It was so nice. It was so refreshing to watch this interview and to see Josh saying his full thought. Like, to see an interviewer and to see a friend that are both willing to just let him speak and to let him take his time and to say the entire thing that he wants to say. Because, I mean, even in my own life, how many times have I tried to express a thought that people cut off because I took too long to say it? So to see an interview where this person has voiced their discomfort with doing public things like this, like somebody who is uncomfortable being in the spotlight in this way, to have this person get the time and the respect where they're fully able to voice their thought, it was so refreshing to see. But Tyler also talks about how with the creation of this album, they were trying to push out of things that they are comfortable doing, things that they would normally fall to, and they're saying, how can we push the boundaries? How can we do something that's fun and different? They're breaking out of what comes naturally, and even with the songs that have come out so far, you can definitely feel that. And then obviously the Contract song, the music video came out. If you want to see my thoughts on that, I made like a 30-minute video talking about it. In the interview, Tyler was talking about how because it's the final album, you kind of want the whole audience to be there, and usually there's kind of this breakup where in between albums you lose some fans and then they get picked up along the way, but because they only just finished the Clancy tour and now they're going straight into Breach, we're all still here. You know, the audience is still very much engaged with the story, and you can kind of see that in how the Contract performs, because in the first 24 hours, it got 2.8 million streams on Spotify, which is their biggest Spotify debut so far. So it seems like what Tyler was saying about all of us being here is holding true. We're here for whatever happens. On the 16th of June, the band posted a video to say that they had recorded the music video the same night that the drums got stolen at the show. Again, different behind-the-scenes videos for different platforms, so Twitter sees them recording the video, Instagram sees a drum spinning and how the camera works, and then YouTube Shorts sees Josh being the water bearer. Then on June 20th, the general sale tickets go up for the concert, and also, as a fun little thing, their self-titled album went gold after over a decade, and that is very cool and very much deserved. June 21st, 2025. 1 year since the Paladin music video. 1 year, and we're still sitting at that exact same moment. The Contract didn't bring us anywhere. The Contract video is what took place in Clancy's head in this one single second, this one moment where he has his eyes closed. But he opens them, and we're still stuck here. We don't know where the end of the battle is going. On the 24th, Josh does another radio interview by himself. Tyler is not present at any of these media outings. It's a very strange thing after so long of only hearing from Tyler. And Josh jokes that he doesn't know how to operate without Tyler, but genuinely it is really sweet to see him alone more. It's a really cool thing. I don't know what the lore implications are, because it's like back when Trench was happening and Josh is saying that he's off severing ties. He's not dropping cryptic stuff like that in the interviews, he's just being genuine and sweet, and it's really nice to see. In the interview they talk a little bit about how the band came together and how it's really validating to see a song still performing well after all this time, because it's sort of saying they can still do this. They're not just old and people are over it, like people are still showing up and listening to these songs. They ask, how do you know that this is your best work or something? And Josh says that high school was bad and he wanted to do better as a musician and as a person, and this album is the best because they had the time to develop their skills and they took in the feedback that people were giving and they're putting it all back out there. They're making something that not only they enjoy but also that the fans will enjoy. It's very much a collaborative experience where everybody is giving their feedback and then you're coming out with something better. And that's nothing new. I mean, they've always been very vocal about how much influence has come from the fans. It's very much a back and forth, even if it's not a direct conversation. We see them, they see us. Around the 27th of June, I want to say, there were some stores posting with pre-orders for the Breach album that had track lists printed on the album images, even though at this point the band hadn't confirmed a track list, so we don't know where those track lists came from. Stuff like Urban Outfitters and a record store, they had these images up that had the track list for the songs, but with disclaimers that it might not be the final track list. So it's like, where did that come from and why is it here? Who told you this and why are you promoting it? But it was a lot of familiar titles, stuff like Flowers, Do You Feel at Home, Seldom Surface, No Kin, Drag Path. These are all titles that we've kind of had floating around for a while based on either shirt codes or old songs or, you know, hidden messages throughout the letters. These are titles that we thought we'd be getting, but somehow they ended up printed on these albums that were available for pre-order, except not as confirmed track lists. So I don't know. There was a while where a lot of people were thinking this is the official track list, but at this point the band hadn't confirmed anything. And when I say the band hadn't confirmed anything, I mean the band went radio silent after posting the contract. They just totally up and left. Multiple weeks of silence that were broken only by images of them out with fans, like just meeting up by chance. They didn't give us anything on their own. It was all just fans posting with them when they came out in public. And of course, their silence leads to our desperation, and you have people trying to come up with potential track lists, again, based on that random letter tweet that Tyler had put out so long ago, or people saying that because they're quiet, that actually means we're supposed to be figuring out something right now and we're just not figuring it out. They're giving us time to find some secret code, but really they might have just been giving us a little break while they worked on stuff. But it was kind of weird behavior because it had been over a month since the contract came out at this point and they've given us nothing. The concert dates are coming up and we don't even know the names of the songs. And then on July 15th, Tyler breaks his silence with a roughly 2-minute video on his Twitter account of him writing down the track list. And the thing is, some songs, like Cottonwood or Raw Fear, sound really cool and they make sense with what we've gotten, but then other songs like Garbage and Drum Show just sounds fake. It sounds like he's trying to make a joke out of it. Like, what do you mean my favorite song is Garbage? You can't make me say that. Or what do you mean Josh is gonna perform a song called Drum Show? They're all drum shows. He's playing the drums at the shows. Like, what do you mean? You can't just call a song that. So again, we're getting these mixed opinions on whether or not this is a real track list or if he's just messing with us again, because he had previously put out a joke track list with the Clancy tour. So how are we to believe that these are the real song titles? I did see some people arguing about whether or not this is real based on the fact that the contract wasn't the first song that he wrote down, and when they posted about the contract they said this is the first song off of Breach, and people interpreted that to mean the first song on the track list, when in reality it could have meant the first song that they're giving us. So I saw some confusion there, but I mean, it's pretty clear now that they just meant the first song off of the album, not necessarily the first song on the track list. The next day, on July 16th, the band goes live on Instagram to tease the album. It's a little bit less than 3 minutes, and it's this staticky, fiery broadcast, and we have bits of lyrics and some audio to go along with each song from the album. I'll put it up on the screen, but there are lines like, "I've been this way, I want to change," with Drum Show, "Feeling like I am nothing," in Downstairs, "Can't believe you're gone for good," in Cottonwood. We're not ready for what this album is gonna bring to us. The devastation that is coming our way, I don't know. The final song, Intentions, just has the line, "Intentions are everything." And they also give us a date for when the album is coming out. Up until this point, there have been rumors that it's coming out on September 5th, because that was what some of the pre-order websites were saying, but they officially say September 12th is the album release date, which gives us roughly 6 days to learn the songs before they start touring it, which is not unheard of. They've definitely done that close between the album release and the tours before, but it's still scary to think about how quick that turnaround is, you know? Not only for the fans, but also for them. They're gonna give us this album, and just like that, it's gonna be over. That's a scary thing to think about. And when you see the track list typed out, you see that Raw Fear is in a different style. It is one word, no space, and all caps, which again is blurry face style, so what's up with that? Raw Fear is a phrase that we got from a torchbearer letter, so why is it written like a bishop? And then I'm not gonna really get into this, there are some people saying that these songs are remastered versions of Regional at Best songs, or that they're old demos. The teaser for Downstairs sounds like a Korea demo from 2012, or that the contract sounds like another demo. Like, there are all these connections to how it sounds, but he did post this track list at 2 p.m. and the video is roughly 2 minutes long, so it seems like 2 is a big number for some reason. It does lead people to think that the next song or something big will be coming out in 2 days. There was a video from Live Nation going around to promote the tour, and I mean, on the surface it looked cool, you know, and it has Tyler talking about how this is gonna be so awesome, but unfortunately the creator of that video proudly announced on Instagram that they did indeed use AI to make some of it. People have been calling it out, saying, hey, that kind of looks obviously like AI was used. What's up with that? And the person that made it was not afraid to admit it. And the thing is, Tyler has spoken out against AI use in the past, but I will say just because something is promoting their band or promoting their music and happen to use AI, it doesn't necessarily mean that they were involved. Like, I don't know how much of a say they have in approving things or whatever, but also I don't know how involved they are in seeing the creative process, like seeing how the advertisement gets made. So just because there's AI used in a video to promote them doesn't necessarily mean that they're all of a sudden pro AI. Yes, it would be nice if they had spoken out against it and been like, hey, Live Nation, what's up with that? We don't like that. Like, I wish maybe there was more of a conversation there, but I'm not gonna get mad at the band for somebody promoting them using AI in, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how far down the line that happened. It is now July 19th and the band still has not said anything, but people noticed on Apple Music that not only the contract, but also Drum Show had a different identification code from the other songs, which kind of let people know that Drum Show might be the next single. And then 2 more weeks of silence, of nothing, before August 1st, where Tyler posts on his Instagram story a picture of Josh with his drums. It seems like they're in a parking garage for some reason, but it's just an image of Josh. And we think, okay, cool, a music video is coming soon. They're working on a music video. This is so awesome. It's so great to see that they're still doing stuff. They haven't totally abandoned us after the contract, right? On August 8th, Drum Show was added to iTunes and Apple Music data, so people are pretty sure that that's gonna be what we're getting. Like, that's probably what the music video was that they're working on. And I saw somebody post that this is the longest they've gone in between singles, which is really interesting, honestly. It does not feel like it's been that long, but I guess in the grand scheme of album releases, there's been a long period of silence. Normally you'd be hyping up your album for this entire time, but they gave us 1 single and then they haven't given us anything, and now we're gonna get the rest of the album. It's going by very, very quickly, and they really, I mean, besides the weird cryptic videos for 2 weeks before the contract, they haven't given us all that much. But also, they don't need to, as we're gonna see. This is going very well. They don't even need to be giving us all of this promotion. We're still here, we're still watching. On August 10th, the 21 Pilots YouTube account posts a live premiere with a picture of a parking garage, the same one that Josh was in with that picture, but the live stream almost immediately gets taken down. It's not even a video, it's literally just a thumbnail. Was it published accidentally? Maybe too early? Is it a hint of something that's gonna be coming up? We find out the next day, because on August 11th at 12 p.m, the channel posts the premiere with a 10-ish minute countdown of static, and then the timer ends, and you think, okay, maybe we're getting a music video now. Maybe they're just gonna drop a new song on us, but no. It's 10 minutes of Tyler and Josh unpacking a van and setting up their equipment. And that's it. Tyler gets his bass out, he gets a lawn chair out, he's sitting and scrolling on his phone as Josh sets up the drums. And as soon as they're done getting ready, they say, okay, we're good. And then they end the live stream. After so long of not giving us anything, that is such a funny way to come back. I love it. I know some people were very frustrated, which I get it, but also, that is so good. And they still gave no indication of when we would be getting something for real. But if you looked a little bit closer at that live stream, there are some hidden things to notice. For one thing, the license plate said FPE 8553, and if you add up those numbers, you get 21, so that seems like a fun little Easter egg. But the real thing to pay attention to is throughout the video, throughout the live stream, there are 3 overhead service announcements. And it's 818, 818, August 18th. The video title is just the date and the time that it was recorded, August 1st, which we already knew from that picture that Tyler had posted. So really the only thing to take away here is the potential 818. And on August 13th, that was confirmed to be the Drum Show release date. We get a little sneak peek into what it's going to sound like, and people say it's a lot like if Next Semester and Navigating were evil. And we also start getting some more new pictures of the boys for this new era. Around August 14th, people start to post that they are receiving letters from Dima, which we mentioned might happen earlier. This time, instead of 4 reports, it's 1 front and back page. And I just so happen to be one of those people. Try not to dox my entire self, but I did get a letter from Dima. I saw people posting about it and I was like, okay, I feel it in my bones that there's one for me in my mailbox, and I went and I checked and there it was. And for everybody wondering, I know a lot of people ask, how do you get one? Why don't I get one type of thing? I'm pretty sure it's random based off of if you've ordered from them before. Like when people were getting the text messages from Blurryface, it's because they were previously on the text list. Like they were signed up to receive messages or to receive updates. So then that's how the 21 Pilots accounts had their number. So in the same way, if you have ordered from their shop before, then they have your address, then they might send you mail. I don't think it's about buying a specific thing or anything like that. It's not like you have to sign up to a special list just to get a letter. It's more just you buy anything from them and now they have your information, they can do whatever they want with it. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if there's a more specific way they go about choosing who gets what. I just know that there are a lot of people asking a lot of questions, and I want to put it out there. I didn't do anything special. I just enjoy the band. I've bought merch from them in the past, and it happened to work out for me because we got this. And now I can actually hold it up in the video, which is very cool that I didn't have to just print one out. On one side, we have an incident report. There are charges of arson, unauthorized perimeter breach, and unlawful vehicular destruction, which we see in the Heavy Dirty Soul music video. The first half of the letter goes over the events of February 3rd, 2017, which is a couple days before that music video had come out. It says a car was found in flames and that it seems to be intentional, that Clancy is the subject of interest. We see that his citizen ID is that same number that has been floating around for a while, the one that got us to the hidden messages in the first place, and he's currently unaccounted for. It says that they believe Clancy coerced or manipulated a bishop into taking him somewhere, which suggests that Clancy had tricked someone. Up until this point, we kind of assumed that he was being taken somewhere by a bishop before escaping, but this suggests that he had tricked somebody into helping him escape, as if whoever was driving the car, at least for a period of time, was helping him. And then it says that Clancy was seen escaping on foot into Trench. And the thing is, I hadn't thought about it this way at all, but Good Day Dima made a video about it that brought up a pretty good point, where the torchbearer can project himself into more than one place. I know I said it the wrong way in the other video, and I was saying how he's not really there or something, but really he is because he's projecting like a spirit version of himself or something. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I said it the wrong way. People got mad and I'm sorry about that. I don't really understand how his whole thing works. But I'll put it in the description. Good Day Demon was talking about how what if the torchbearer was projecting himself into the car and he was the one helping Clancy escape, and that's why when the camera turns around, there's nobody in the driver's seat because he had been projecting himself and then he goes away. Because in the letter it does say that the person that helped Clancy escape, their whereabouts are also unknown. There were no bodies remaining. Clancy ran away, but whoever else was in that car is also gone. And then that got me into thinking more about who is the torchbearer, like where did he come from, what was his role before this story, because it's saying it could have been one of the perimeter guards or a bishop. So now I'm thinking, what if the torchbearer was a guard in the city and then he abandoned his post and now he's doing all of this stuff? We can't get into all of that. But it's just an interesting thing to think about, how much the torchbearer could have been a part of this story before we even knew who he was. And then at the bottom of the page, we get a message that's pretty typical for something from Dima. It says, "All earthly honor unto the glorious gone. Let their ash mark the path of those who remain." At first glance, that seems pretty basic for what they usually say, talking about the glorious gone and appreciating the contribution that they've made to the city or something. But then you actually think about what it's saying, and it's saying that the ash is gonna mark the path. What do you mean by that? What do you mean the ash is marking things? Oh, you mean like the smearing, like the black ink that actually could just be the ash of the dead? Hey, so when Tyler is dipping his hands in the black ink and then putting it all over himself and also the audience, what do you mean that's the ashes of the people in the city? Is that what we're saying right now? Anyways. The other side of the letter is a scanned message from a guard, Elliot, which is actually a name we've seen before. If you remember, that was the first message that we got from the Clancy tour. With all the letters that were given to us from the venues, Elliot was the very first name that we got. This is a character that has previously said he'll help the rebellion in any way that he can, and now it seems like we're seeing that come to life. The transmission says that Clancy has reached the tower, that the sect quarters are clear, and escape routes are open. Evacuate now. This isn't specifically for any one person, this is just warning people, get out while you can. And it does seem like while the first side of this letter is talking about Heavy Dirty Soul and the car blowing up and Clancy running away into Trench, the second side is more about where we're at in Paladin, where things are cleared out, Clancy's up there, now get out while you can, something's about to go down. So we don't know if it's like they're going to do something to the city and that's why you have to escape, or if it's like get out while the bishops are distracted so that you're able to get out, you know? We don't really know how the battle goes, so it's hard to know what this message means, but it's clear that something is going on, right? And it's clear that the rebels that we heard from during the tour, the people that were talking back and forth about how they want to make a difference, they're putting the work in now. And there are also kind of bolded or smudged out letters throughout this that spell out The sun will rise and we will try again. They're bringing us all the way back to Vessel, all the way back to Truce. What an awesome way to bring us back to the present. And then they also announced Dayglow as the opener for their tour, which is also cool. I feel like now is as good a time as any to talk about what people's expectations were for Drum Show, because at this point it's coming out in 3 days. So it's called Drum Show. It's pretty safe to assume that it's going to be about or for or featuring Josh in a way that the songs usually aren't. Maybe that means a more dedicated drum portion, maybe that means there's going to be lyrics directed at him, like it could be something like that. Some people were hopeful that Josh might sing on the album, and this would be a good opportunity to put that in there. And I'll put it in if I can find the clips, but there were a lot of interviews where Josh had talked about how he uses the drums to hide behind as a sort of barrier between him and the crowd, because it's scary to go up in front of a mic and talk with all these people. Like, it's a scary thing to do. So he had the comfort of the drums that he would rely on. But in more recent years, Josh has been spending more time in front of the mic. Obviously, we've been seeing all of these interviews where he's been the only person there, but also we've seen him singing more. At Jingle Ball, he sang Stressed Out, I want to say, and that's a really good performance. I really like that one. It's really sweet. But also during the Clancy tour, him and Tyler would sing a duet where Tyler is singing Paladin Straight and Torchbearer, Josh, is singing Bandito. And along with him pushing his boundaries, getting out of his comfort zone, doing something that he had talked about for years, being too scared to do, it also is saying a lot about these characters, where you're seeing the Torchbearer, who's with the Banditos, who's part of this bigger group, and then Clancy, who's singing Paladin Straight, who's talking about, here's my chance, time to take it. Like, it's very much the group versus Clancy, where he's trying to push himself to do something without the support of everybody else. Meanwhile, his friend is trying to remind him of everything that they've worked towards. Anyways, people were getting pretty excited about the idea that he could potentially sing on this song, going as far as to name them Jokels, saying, I'm so excited for the Jokels, I hope we get to hear Jokels on this one. And on August 15th, Tyler confirms it by tweeting out just the word Jokels. The next day, August 16th, Tyler puts out kind of a sappy, sad post on his socials where he talks about the plans for this album and the plans going forward. I'll put it on the screen if you want to read the whole thing, but he has 3 main points. The first one being he's excited for the album. He says, Breach took everything I had left, which is a devastating sentence to read. Second, he said that Drum Show comes out on August 18th and that Josh might be doing more than drumming. He says that the video is not related to the story and that actually there's only one more video that's related to the story, and it's City Walls, which is the first song on the album. That the last song, Intentions, is him thinking about the first song and what it all means, but that's the end of the story. Specifically, he says the end of that, in all caps, story will come with the video for City Walls, which does lead some people to think maybe the rest of the album is going to be this story but from different characters' perspectives or something like that, which I do think would be cool considering how we got this message from Elliot if we were to see how the other characters are playing their roles in this rebellion. But at the same time, I don't feel like we've gotten enough time with those characters to really care about their stories in the same way, so I don't know how that would go. And then the third point that he makes is that they have a US tour in fall, but after that, he doesn't know what's next. He says this is basically the first time in their entire career where they don't have another tour lined up, they don't have another album planned, they're just kind of floating. They don't know when they'll tour next, but again, he clarifies he's excited for everything that's coming up, it's gonna be a great tour, great album, all that stuff. And he does apologize for not bringing this show on a world tour, for not bringing the end to everybody. And there were quite a few mixed reactions to this statement. Obviously, there's a lot of anticipation about where the rest of the story is gonna go, so if it's all wrapped up with the first song on the album, what are the rest of the songs gonna be? It's really sweet to see how pretty much at every opportunity he's talking about how he's so proud of Josh for stepping out of his comfort zone for doing this. Like, you can tell how much they care about each other and how much they respect each other and how much they both understand each other's struggles and support each other. It's just a really sweet thing to see. Some people say that the message feels like a goodbye, and it's like, it is a goodbye to the story, but the man isn't saying goodbye to us. They're not abandoning music forever. They didn't say we don't know if we'll tour. They said we don't know when we'll tour. They do have plans of touring eventually. This isn't a forever. This is just the end of the story, which is something that we knew. He has talked about how Clancy was the end of the story. This isn't an abrupt cutoff for everything. This is something that we've had coming for a year, and they're finally giving us the end of it, and then they're gonna take a little break, and that's okay. I saw some people going as far as to say that it's like when your friend out of nowhere texts you that they love you, and you have to worry about them. And it's like, no, I think in this situation, like, we obviously don't know the guy. I don't know what he's going through, but I think it's safe to assume that he's just trying to communicate with the fans because they are usually pretty unclear with what they're doing. Like, this is a pretty big step that they're taking now to finish this story and then to step away from it all. So I think it's okay if he chose to be a little bit more sincere, a little bit more vulnerable, and he talks about what the plan is going forward so that we're not just left in the dark. Because when they did the hiatus, they didn't want to do that to us again. They didn't want to just completely drop off the face of the planet. So this time they're letting us know. We're so used to them being cryptic that it is a little bit jarring to see them being so upfront like this, but I mean, it's okay. They're allowed to do that. He signs off the message with a dot before his name instead of after, which leads people to think, I don't really know what they're thinking. They think that could mean something. And then there's this whole bigger conversation about the touring, which again, I talked about in the other video, so I'm not going to get into it here, but there was this bigger conversation about how it seems like they were forced to stop touring this album early, and I don't know if that's true or not because they did just get back from a world tour, so it would be weird to go on a second world tour without taking any breaks. But there are people saying that their record label is forcing them to stop and that they hate their record label, and I mean, there's a whole bigger conversation in that with Lavish and with the idea of if we become, then we must do better. Like, you could really tie in a lot of this to that. But there are people saying that the record label is making them stop the tour, and that's why it feels so abrupt, is because it's not their choice, and they love live performing, and they would never end it like this. Regardless of who made that decision, I think it's fair to say that they deserve a break, and it's okay if they take one. On August 17th, Tyler reposts an edit of fans on his story, and it's really sad and sweet, and it leads some people to believe that he for sure didn't want the tour to end because he loves the live performances so much, and this is his way of apologizing because he's not able to explicitly say what the reasoning is, but this is him showing that he feels bad or that he's sorry. Sweet if true, but again, we don't know what they're thinking or what the behind the scenes are. But regardless, him posting this did make people feel more seen, especially those who were left behind with the end of this show. And that brings us to 8/18, August 18th, Drum Show release day. At 1:30 EST, Drum Show song and music video are released. And along with that, we get another interview, this time with BBC Radio 1, where they talk about the song and a little bit more about the rest of the album. In the interview, Josh talks about how this song is his high school and college angst and when music is all that you have. How they were both a little bit nervous for Josh to go out of his comfort zone like this, but that he did awesome. Tyler again says he's proud. They touch on Tyler's post and how City Walls is the end, and Tyler says that it was a pretty expensive music video. They ask, do you mind telling us how much it cost? And he says $1 million. The first song on this album, the final music video for this story, cost $1 million. And not only that, but he said the most expensive part was having to recreate old videos, and that he was putting on outfits from a decade ago? What are we talking about right now? 5 days of shooting and $1 million for the end of this story. What could it possibly be? They end the interview by talking about future plans and the fact that they don't know when, not if, when, they'll tour again, but they're excited for this time to prepare for what's coming next, because really, I mean, they're just taking this time for family and home time, which they haven't really had. They've been touring for a long time, and they're obviously grateful and they're excited for the opportunities that they've had, but they also kind of want to just have normal lifetime for a little bit. And he does ease people's worry by clarifying that this isn't a goodbye show. This isn't their farewell tour. This is just a tour. They're taking a break, and they're still gonna work on more stuff. They're both excited for this period of unknown, and they're excited to work without needing to meet a deadline, without having to put something out. That being said, obviously, the big thing, the thing that we're all here for, Drum Show. I didn't even realize there was this much to talk about before we got here, but we're here now. The music video is fairly simple. It shows the boys performing in a parking garage, which we had seen them setting up for in the live stream, and then inside of this car. The visuals are so good. You gotta listen to it, you gotta watch the video. If you're interested in how the song and the video were made, I would recommend, I'll put it in the description, Mark, somebody else that has worked with them pretty much this whole time, just yesterday did a live stream where he broke down how they made the music video. If you're interested in seeing how stuff like this is made, or just seeing somebody that knows about this band and everything that's going on, I would say watch that video, watch that live stream. It's really cool to see how something like this can be broken down. But we see Josh driving and drumming. Josh is very much controlled, he's locked in, he's just doing his thing, and Tyler's not doing so good. But people say that Tyler is just expressing Josh's emotions since Josh doesn't do it himself, and that sucks. The song is for Josh about Josh. It's just so obvious how much these guys care about each other and how much they know each other, because to even make a song like this that is so vulnerable, you have to really understand the person that you're writing about. So the fact that that song even exists means that they know so much about each other and they care so deeply about it. Like, it's such a special thing to see. And then the visual of Tyler in the backseat of a car, again, is calling back to Heavy Dirty Soul, which then makes me think about that letter and how the torchbearer could be in the front. Like, don't make me think about all that. I can't do it. Do we think that the torchbearer projected himself in order to help Clancy escape by sitting in the front seat of that car and getting him out of there? Because also at the end of the jumpsuit video, after Tyler had escaped, after he runs through Trench, after he gets caught by Nico, the final scene of that music video is the torchbearer looking down and staring at Nico, and they're kind of having this stare off, and it's like, how close are they really? Like, it's possible these are just two enemies facing each other down, but what if the torchbearer knew Nico on a closer level and that's why they're staring at each other that way? And whether that means that the torchbearer was a citizen or if he was someplace higher, if he had a higher power in the city. And then it's like, okay, so yeah, the torchbearer is a bishop. Like, now what do we do with that? So we're not getting into that right now. But it just makes you think, right? Like, what really is the torchbearer's role in this before Clancy's story, before what we got? Who is this guy? But the timeline for this song, like where it lines up with their real lives, is similar to Next Semester, where that song was about Tyler's kind of college-ish years, and this one is about Josh's high school years. But the lyrics also kind of pair with Car Radio, where that one is about what happens when you're sitting in silence, when you're forced to deal with your thoughts, and this song is about playing music and just using that to cope, and it's like the other side of the coin. When this song came out, they also put up 3 exclusive edition CDs, which were labeled Nova Bishop, Dark Clancy, and Torchbearer. Torchbearer makes sense. Fair enough. Simple enough. We know that guy. What do you mean Nova Bishop? Hey, what do you mean Dark Clancy? What do you mean by that? Don't buy merch you can't afford. It's okay. You're gonna be okay. Hello, me from the future here, because I'm editing this video and I took a little while to make it, so I actually do have an update. Because they posted the music video and the song on August 18th, and then on the 25th they posted some behind the scenes of how they made the video. But the thing that I'm jumping in here to say, the thing that actually matters right now, is that on August 26th, the band posted a video of the torchbearer, and it's not something we've seen before. And it's this 30-second clip of Josh carrying the torch and a group of people all with yellow tape, and it says, "The show extends into the lawn. Join the Bandito camp in the fall." People were complaining about the fact that it's mostly outdoor venues, which was kind of weird because the band is obviously doing very well right now, so they were like, why aren't they doing the biggest stadiums that they can? Why would they set it up to be a bunch of amphitheaters unless there's some feature of the show where they would need to be outside, where they would utilize the entire venue in a different way that you couldn't do in a big stadium. And this seems to be that reason. The band has always been really good about getting fans involved and keeping everybody included so that you never feel like you're just in the background when you're watching a performance. Everybody feels like they're a part of something, and this is just another way that they're continuing that behavior, because they have the pit, where you're very close to the performance and you're very much involved in it, but they're extending it all the way to the lawn. They are making this an entire venue experience. People started putting images of Dima and Trench over images of the venues and saying that the pit and the stage and everything is Dima, where Clancy is fighting with the bishops, but then the lawn in the back is Trench and where banditos are fighting. Like the song "On the Ground Are Banditos Fighting While I Find Nico," and then we find out that we're gonna be doing the final fight. But they're finding a way to incorporate those seats into the show, and potentially the battle is gonna play out with everybody. But then if you think about that more, it's like, okay, well, if the city is on one side, and then Trench and the rest of the battle is happening over here, what's the middle? And then you start to worry that the middle is the graves. So much of the Dima map is the neon gravestones that line the city, and if the city's on one side and the lawn's over here, then the middle, I don't know. And obviously these are all just theories floating around because we don't know how the show is going to play out until they start doing it. But if they are trying to have the lawn as a camp, you gotta start thinking just how much involvement is the audience going to have in this show. And then on August 27th, they released CDs that had a different font for every song title. So now we're kind of getting a vibe for what each of the songs are going to sound like. So for example, Raw Fear is very much like a heavy metal font. One Way is very much giving My Chemical Romance. Intentions, the O is the map of Dima, so whatever that means. And then today, August 28th, they continued the behind-the-scenes videos of how they made the music video. And then Josh posted on his YouTube channel a drum cover, and it's just not something that people were expecting, but it's something that we're all very, very happy for, because it's clear that even in this break, where they're going to be stepping away from this band, they're still going to be keeping up with other projects, and the fact that this could be the start of potentially a lot more Josh content that's just on his own channel, just him doing something that he likes. It's a really sweet thing to see. He updated the banner and the profile picture and everything, and he posted a cover of Master of Puppets, and it's really cool to think that they're gonna be branching out and doing their own projects just because they can. Like, they've been working on this big story for so long, and now they finally have time to step back and just do things that they want to because they enjoy it. So just for fun, I'm also gonna link his channel in the description because I think you should watch it. It's just a really cool thing to support. But yeah, that's the big update that's happened since I recorded this, is just that they're going to be taking the performance into the lawn. I have never seen a band so committed to involving everybody and to make it such an immersive experience where no matter where you're at in enjoying them, or if it's a live performance or you're just watching or listening, they care so much about getting all those details and making sure that it's the best experience for everybody. And it's just really cool to see that. It's such a well thought out story, and the way that they're presenting it is just, there's truly nothing like it. And that's the end of the lore that I have. The rest of this is just me talking about how much I love this song because I can't stop listening to it. So if all you cared about are the actual updates of the story and where we're at, this is probably the last update that they're gonna give us, or that I'm gonna give you, before the rest of the album comes out in a couple of weeks. At that point, we can come back together and talk about how devastating the end of the story is, because at that point we will have had the final song and video off of the album. I truly don't know what I'll do with myself. But if you would like to hang around for a little bit longer just to talk about how awesome this song is, welcome to this portion of the video. I don't have any sort of direction for how I'm going to say this. I just kind of have a list of bullet point thoughts that I have that I need to talk about. Because when I tell you I cannot stop listening to this song, I truly, truly mean it. I listened to it a couple hours after it came out, and I could not sleep that night because I needed to keep looping the song. Like, it is so serious. I got home, I started listening to it around 6 p.m., and at midnight, I was forcing myself to stay awake so I could hear it one more time. I woke up the next morning and I played it while I was getting ready. I got off of work and I turned it back on. Within 2 days, this song became my most listened to out of the past 12 months. And guess what was above it? There is only one song that could possibly be above it, and it's Next Semester. And at this rate, it's not gonna stay up there for very long. This song is easily my favorite that they have put out in the time that I've been following them, and quite possibly my favorite song ever. And it is entirely possible that I am going to make myself sick of it from how much I'm listening to it, and then I won't feel as strongly, but for right now, there is nothing else that I want to listen to. There has not been a point so far where I've gotten tired of listening to it. I have it one song on loop, and every single time I listen to it, I am equally as excited to hear it. I am not even joking. I planned and reached out to tattoo artists within 2 hours of hearing the song for the first time to try and get the biggest tattoo I've ever gotten in honor of the song. It means so much to me for so many reasons. For one thing, I just got my license a couple of weeks ago, so obviously it's relevant there because the whole idea of driving and getting from one place to another, you know, all of that is stuff that I'm experiencing for the first time. It feels really good to drive in a car and to get to listen to your own music while you're driving and to not have to worry about, like, doing things for somebody else. Like, you're in control of your situation when you're able to just function off of what you want to do and you have total control over where you're going and what's happening. I don't think there's anything else that can capture that feeling because you're always reliant on somebody else, and then you learn to drive, and then for the first time it's all you. It has genuinely made me feel so much more hopeful for what's going on. And I saw people posting and saying that there are multiple car crashes happening because people are taking the song so literally that they're just driving recklessly. That is not what we're talking about. You should not do that. Do not listen to the song and then drive recklessly because you feel inspired to just be carefree on the road. But also, I just recently graduated college, so I'm very much in that same age range where this song would have been written about, where it's like there's a lot of expectations about what I need to be doing next, or where I should be going, or the ways that I'm supposed to act, all of these different things, and it's really nice to just kind of take it slow for a little bit and to get in the car and go on a drive and you don't have to worry about anything else. It's just you and the 21 Pilots, because I'll be so for real, 90% of the time if I'm in the car driving, I'm listening to 21 Pilots. This song just came at the perfect time for like what I'm able to do right now, you know? Like I just recently gained this skill and now I have the perfect song for it that captures that exact feeling. Josh's 2 lines, "I've been this way, I want to change," I feel like captures my entire mindset right now with where I'm at in life, because there are some things that I've been working on, and I've had this conversation with everybody in my life. Like all the people that I talk to about how I want to work on things, this is the exact way that I've talked about it. Where it's like, I see myself a certain way, and more than that, I have gotten other people to see me a certain way. And because of that, I feel like it'll be embarrassing to act in a way that doesn't align with what they think I'll do. So because of that, I don't push myself outside of the boundaries of what's expected. And it's like, for what? Why am I embarrassed to just do something that I want to do just because it won't align with what people expect from me? I don't owe anybody that. I've been a certain way, I've set the expectation, but if I want to change it, I can. Like, those 2 lines are exactly the thing that I'm working on right now. And I mean, I'm sure that's a pretty universal feeling. It's kind of, I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can relate this song to your life, but listen, I'm okay with being like everybody else. If everybody likes a song and I like it too, then we have good taste in music. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't think I'm saying anything new here, but I'm gonna say it anyways because it matters to me. And I saw somebody talking about how there is power in wanting to change versus feeling like you need to, feeling like you have to meet expectations, you have to do what other people are expecting from you, versus you personally wanting to change something about yourself. You want to work towards something. There is a lot of power in making that decision for yourself, not because somebody else asked you to or said that you need to. I think the way that this song is structured, the way that the instruments are layered in, the way that the vocals are layered in, it is the perfect song. Like, it's layered in such a way to where you never feel like you're listening to the same thing. There's always something new happening, whether it's upcoming vocals being thrown into the background or old vocals being put in on top of everything, or instrumental that you wouldn't really expect on a song that gets as loud as it does. There's kind of some delicate stuff in the background, and it's just like there's always something going on. I always feel engaged in the song. It's never like, man, I don't want to listen to this. There's not a single part of this song that I want to skip. And that is rare. When I've listened to a song this many times, normally there's at least one part that I get kind of bored of, but genuinely this song builds up in such a way to where I never feel like that. The way it starts off kind of quieter and he's saying even now and it's kind of this subdued thing, and then by the end he's yelling it. It's still, even now, still happening. Feeling the full intensity of that emotion and then dropping back down, hearing it again, listening to the song over, and it's getting quiet, and it's just not something that I get bored of because the entire song is evolving. Like, the whole thing, throughout the whole song, it's constantly evolving. So then you can circle back around and you hear something new and you hear it all over again in a whole new way. There really aren't that many lines in the song, but the way that they're given to you tells such a story all on its own. There's, of course, the yell, which reminds a lot of people of the song Save, which, if you don't know what that is, it's from his older album before 21 Pilots in 2007. There's a song called Save. It's rough to listen to, I'll tell you that much. But people said this scream sounds kind of like that song. And listen, as devastating as it is, I do like that song. I think the line "stuck between a rock and a home" is so good. It's such a way to twist that phrase. Of course, the line "even now," which is repeated throughout the entire song, it's rough to hear. Because it kind of, the song almost, you grow up with it, where you start hearing it and it's kind of softer and it's quieter, and you sort of imagine that this person is a kid, they're in high school, and it's like, okay, well, even now, like, things are kind of rough, and they're driving, and it's hard. And then by the end of the song, it's like, oh, even now, like, right now. Like, you're talking about right now. And then to me, that even evokes this image of, like, when people say even now after somebody has died, and it's like, oh, even now this person's still watching over you. And it's like, even now, even after life, he's still holding on to this music, it still means so much. And I know that might not be the direction that they want this song to go, but that's how I picture it. Where it's like you're really going through every stage of life, but the music is always there. And it's like, this song is something that's gonna age with people, where you're gonna hear it for the first time at whatever age you are now, and then maybe in 10, 15 years you're gonna hear it and you're gonna think, oh, even now, I'm still doing certain things that I was doing back then. Like, I still have ways that I cope with hardships that I'm doing now. And you're gonna remember what life was like back then and what things are like now and how you're still maybe relying on certain things. But no matter how much the conditions have changed, you're still the person that lived those things all those years ago. There's still a piece of that within you. Like, obviously it's telling a story of Josh as this person, but it's also something that's gonna connect to everybody that listens to it, because you're gonna hear it for the first time, connect to it in your own ways, and then in the future when you listen back you're gonna think, oh, even now, like, this isn't just about him, this is about me too. Is this play about us? Yeah, it's all about us, unfortunately. And I will say, like, Josh just turned 37, which is something I cannot comprehend. But like, it is so nice to see grown men being vulnerable in a public eye. Like, there are so many people that put up such a shield, and they're just so, like, they either say it in a way that feels very performative, or they just shut down any negative emotion. And it's so nice to see people being real and just talking about how they actually feel about difficult things, especially mental health, which obviously men's mental health is still not talked about enough. It's not taken care of enough. So to see people that are so bravely coming out here and not only talking about it, but facing their fears head on, like, they're always so upfront about their struggles, but it's not in a way to where the audience is supposed to feel bad about them and what they're going through. Like, they're always so upfront about their struggles, but it's never been in a way to where the audience is supposed to feel bad for them. It's like, it's in a way where it's relatable, and it just feels really good to see that even after all these years, and even as they're getting older, they're not shying away from being vulnerable about these things, because it really does matter to talk about stuff like this. And not only to talk about it, but show that you can overcome it. I mean, we watched Tyler go from talking about some really dark stuff to now he has a wife and 3 children, and he seems to be doing pretty well. And to see Josh talking about how he's so scared and how he doesn't want to be in front of the mic, and to now have a song where he's singing on it, like, that is a huge step, and it matters so much that we're able to see not only them talking about their struggles, but showing that you can still do hard things. Showing that you can still push through. Like, that is so important to a lot of people. It allows people to feel seen, but not only that, it allows people to feel like maybe they can do it too, right? Like, that's why it matters so much. I really appreciate this band. There are things I've done, there are ways I've acted, but I want to change. I actively want to change. So I'm gonna do it scared, and I'm gonna do it uncertain, and I'm gonna do it uncomfortable, and I'm gonna do it, right? And it's really cool to see other people doing that, like, actively embodying that and going out and doing it. Whenever people ask me if I'm a Tyler or a Josh person, I always say Tyler, but, like, I think in my heart it's probably Josh, because this song just means so much more to me. I fear I relate to Josh in more ways than I'm willing to admit. And not just because of the hair, though I will admit he has been an inspiration for years. But genuinely, seeing him doing something like this, it really does mean a lot. It really is inspiring. So yeah, basically, I can't get enough of this song. Every time I listen to it, I pull some more meaning from it, and I'm just so proud of them for putting it out there, I guess. And for Josh feeling comfortable enough to open up like that, and to push himself to do something as big as this. Like, it's really, really cool. And it's performing well. Within one day, it was number 3 on the alternative US iTunes chart. The video got 1.5 million YouTube views in less than 24 hours. The boys have been posting a lot of fan art on their social media. There's a really good vibe in the air right now. Yes, it is sad that they're not touring everywhere. They're not gonna go hit every place that people want, but they're still showing that they appreciate us, right? They gave us maybe the best song ever, in my opinion. And they're still interacting with us. They're still trying to show that they appreciate us, that they see what we're doing, right? Like, that does count for something, I feel like. And that's all I have for right now. The drum show video came out 4 days ago. It's currently sitting comfortably at 3 million views. How do you guys like the song? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I don't think I've seen a single bad opinion about it, so if you don't like it, I would be very interested to know why. That being said, I would assume they're not gonna put out another single until the album comes out, just because it's only a couple weeks away. It's possible that they put out a third something. I really don't know what to expect. We have less than a month until Breach comes out, and then tour starts again. If they post a single, I'll probably do another shorter video like I did with the contract, because this one kind of caught us up on the lore as well as my opinion, so if they do another single, I'll just do my opinion and then we'll come back for the big one. I don't know. I needed to talk about it because I legitimately cannot stop listening to this song. Like, I think it's gonna be a problem for me. I've never been hooked on a song so quickly. Like, I've never been so unable to stop listening to a song before. Every single line resonates with me, and the way that it's produced and the way that the visuals are, like, there's literally not a single bad thing about this song. I don't know how they do it. They just keep getting better. And it's like, that's what it's all about, right? Like, that's what they're talking about in the interviews. They're pushing themselves. They're trying to do new things, better things. And I mean, it's working. The stuff that they're putting out recently has been more interesting. It's been pushing the boundaries for sure. If you told me a year ago that we're getting the Contract and Drum Show, I would not have expected them to sound like this at all. And I cannot wait to see what the rest of the album is going to have for us. I am sure we are going to be absolutely devastated with how a lot of this comes out. But hopefully, we will also feel seen, and we will feel that sense of community, and we will all be kind to each other and to the band as we come upon the end of this era. It's kind of bittersweet, for sure, actually. But, you know, you don't want to bring bad vibes into it. Not everything is going to go exactly the way that we think it should, but we're still getting what we're getting, and that's special. And it's a really cool thing that we're living through right now. The fact that we're experiencing these songs, and the fact that we're experiencing this band at all, that they've been doing it for as long as they have, and that they don't plan on stopping, the fact that they've talked about how they want to do other projects in the future, and how they're excited to put more time into something new, like, that is so exciting. It's gonna be hard to get away from this story, to leave this world behind, but, I mean, they're gonna have total freedom to do whatever they want, right? And that's also so exciting to think about. Change is hard, but I mean, we can be a little bit excited, yeah? Because I'm sure they're only gonna keep going up, right? They're gonna keep pushing things, they're gonna keep on doing what they think is cool, what they think we'll think is cool. I cannot wait to see what comes next. With that being said, if you like this video and you want to see some more stuff like it, I do have a 21 Pilots playlist where I've talked about everything from the introduction to Blurryface to now. I also have other videos on this channel if you want to go check them out. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about all of this. I would love to chat about it. It truly does mean the world to me to see what you guys are thinking about the videos and about the music and about all of it. I really love that we can have that conversation here, so let me know. With all that being said, thank you so much, and I will see you later with another video. Bye.